Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lahu wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. Amma ba'du, fa'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Last week in our previous Quran class, we had covered the roots Waw, Qaf and Ya, which is the root for Muttaqi. And then we also covered the root Alif Mim Noon, which is the root for Iman. The word Yu'minun is also from the same root. Allah Ta'ala says in the first 17 verses of Surah Al-Baqarah, Yu'minuna bil ghaib, that the believers believe in that which is unseen, al-ghaib. So today we're going to cover the root of the word ghaib. The root for this, as you can also refer to your notes, is ghain, ya and ba, or ghain, ye, be. From this root comes the word ghaib. The plural of ghaib is ghuyub. In Arabic we say Allamul Ghuyub, the knower of the unseen. And the word ghuyub is in plural. So ghaib is singular and its plural or jama is going to be ghuyub. The meaning, the fundamental meaning of this root ghaib or ghayaba is when something disappears from before your eyes. When something, is visibly not present before you, you would call that ghaib. But when this word is used for Allah the Almighty, we know that there is nothing hidden from Allah the Almighty. So when Allah says He is the Allamul Ghuyub or Alimul Ghaibi wa Shahada, it is in reference to what we know. When we say Alimul Ghaib, it means the knower of the unseen. The word unseen cannot be used for Allah the Almighty because He sees everything. But this word can be used for mankind because we do not know what happened in the past. We do not have the knowledge what is going to happen in the future. So because of that, when this word is used for Allah the Almighty, it is used with the attribute of Allah, which is Alim or Allam. Alim means knower. Allah means someone who knows, a lot to the best degree possible. Allamul Ghuyub, He is the perfect knower of the things that are unseen according to us, that we do not know. From this root comes the word ghaibi. Remember, the meaning of the root is something which is unseen. So every word which will be formed from this root will have this meaning of something which is unseen, something that you don't know. So the word ghaibi in Arabic is used for secret. Then there is the other word from this root, which is ghaiba. When somebody is absent from a class and roll call is taken and somebody is not there, regarding that individual, it would be said that that individual is ghaib from the class. Or ghaiba would be the word which is used for absence. Then we have the word in Arabic language which stems from this root, and the translation of which is slander. Who can tell me what is that word? Ghibat. So actually the word is ghiba. The ta marbuta or te at the end is not pronounced. So the word is ghiba. Ghiba is when the other person is hidden from you, meaning the other person is not present before you. Who can tell me the difference between ghiba and lying about somebody.
Riba means that you're telling the truth about that person behind his back, and lying is you are not telling the truth behind the person's back.
Okay. So somebody said to Holy Prophet ﷺ, that if I'm talking about the ills which are found in my friend or my brother in his absence, how could this be wrong? So Holy Prophet ﷺ mentioned that if you're saying what you're saying about your brother in the negative connotation, and it is true, then that is what is called ghiba, backbiting. But if what you're saying about your brother is untrue, then that is called lying. So that's the difference between the two. Some people say, when you approach them and you say, look man, don't do backbiting. Or when a sister says to another sister that it's not right to backbite about office holders or about such and such individual. And right away the other individual turns and says, but I'm not lying. And it's true, you might not be lying, but then you're committing something which is equally bad, which is ghiba. Holy Prophet ﷺ in one of the narrations has mentioned that it is equivalent to you eating the flesh of your deceased brother if you're committing ghiba. From the same root comes the word ghiyaba. Ghiyaba means depth of something that you cannot see. Depth of something that you cannot see. They say ghiyabatul jub, the depth of a well. In Pakistan, I have seen many wells. They call it andha kuan, blind well. What they actually mean is that nobody knows how deep it is. It is that deep that you can't tell how deep it is. So when you do not know the depth of something, in Arabic the word ghiyaba is used. Why? Because its depth is unknown to you. You cannot see it. Again, the element of something which is unseen, or the element of something absent from your eyes, is present in this word. Then we have the word ghaybuba. Again from the same root. Ghaybuba in Arabic means unconsciousness. The reason unconsciousness is called ghaybuba is because when somebody becomes unconscious, then everything around that individual becomes unseen to him or her. In that state of unconsciousness, he or she cannot see or perceive or hear anything. Hence, ghaybuba means unconsciousness. Then we have another word which is called mughayyibat. In Arabic, they say mughayyibat is a word which is used for narcotics, drugs. Anesthesia, for example, is another example that could be given. When anesthesia is administered, the person becomes unconscious and loses his or her senses for the time being, and doesn't know what's happening to him or her, or what's happening around him or her. Similarly, narcotics or drugs, when they are taken, the person loses his or her senses. And in that moment, they don't know what they're doing. Another word is mughiba. Mughiba in Arabic is such a woman whose husband is missing. During the times of war, soldiers go to the battlefield, and sometimes they come back and sometimes they don't. And sometimes the reason they don't come back is because either they died while fighting the enemy, and sometimes they become captured behind the enemy lines, and as a result of that they are unable to come back. And if the fate of an individual is not known, his wife back home would be waiting for that soldier to come back. But if the soldier doesn't come back and the fate is unknown, they use the word mughiba, a woman whose husband is missing. Then another word that is commonly used in Arabic is mutaghayyib, and it is usually succeeded by an nun, an. Mutaghayyib means to be absent, and an in this case means from. So we can say absent from masjid would be mutaghayyib anil masjid. That someone, so on and so forth, that individual was absent from the masjid. Mutaghayyib anil masjid. I also wanted to give you a few examples from the Holy Quran where this excuse me. I wanted to give you a few examples from the Holy Quran where this root is used. We have this root appearing in Surah Al-Hujarat, wherein Allah Ta'ala says, وَلَا تَجَسَّسُوا وَلَا يَغْتَبْ بَعْضُكُمْ بَعْضًا. Here the word يَغْتَبْ is used, which is from this root. Then in Surah Al-Baqarah, which currently we're going through, Allah Ta'ala says, الَّذِينَ يُؤْمِنُونَ بِالْغَيْبِ وَيُقِيمُونَ الصَّلَاةَ. Here the word ghab is used. Then the other derivatives from the same root, for example, Allah Ta'ala says ghaiba. Ghaiba is a word which is used in the Holy Quran. Allah Ta'ala says وَمَا مِنْ غَائِبَةٍ فِي السَّمَاءِ وَالْأَرْضِ إِلَّا فِي كِتَابٍ مُبِينٍ. That there is nothing hidden. وَمَا مِنْ غَائِبَةٍ, there is nothing hidden, فِي السَّمَاءِ, in the heavens, وَالْأَرْضِ, and the earth, إِلَّا فِي كِتَابٍ مُبِينٍ, but it is written in a manifest book. Ghaibeen is again a plural for ghaib. This is also mentioned in the Holy Quran in Surah Al-Araf. The word ghaiba, which I have quoted just before, is actually in Surah Al-Naml. Then the word ghayaba is used. I mentioned that. Ghayabatul jub, the end or the depth of a well. In the Holy Quran, this word is mentioned in Surah Yusuf, in the context that the brothers of Hazrat Yusuf alayhi salam left him in a well, in a deep well, and there, after a day or so, or after a few hours, a caravan from Egypt was passing by, and they had one person who was responsible for going and drawing water from the well. So when that individual came and lowered his bucket into the well so that he could grab some water, he could take some water out of the well, draw some water out of the well. At that time, he realized that there was a boy in the well. So he was able to get that boy out. That boy happened to be Hazrat Yusuf alayhi salam. So there, in order to talk about the depth of the well, the word ghayabat al-jub is mentioned. So another word which is mentioned in the Holy Quran is alimul ghaibi fala yudhiru ala ghaibihi ahadan. That Allah Ta'ala is the knower of the unseen, and He does not give the knowledge of that which is unseen to anybody except His messengers. Again, this is mentioned in Surah Jinn. So these are some of the examples which I brought with me to share with you from this, from today's root word that we were covering today. Today, that's all I wanted to cover. With this, we have, alhamdulillah, covered 8 roots that appear in Surah Al-Baqarah's first 17 verses. If anybody has any questions, please utilize this time and ask whatever question you want to ask. I am hoping that Lajna and Maila also have a microphone, so that in case if they have a question, they can use their microphone and ask me. Let me quickly give a gist of what I've mentioned in Urdu as well. मैं उर्दू में खुलासा करना भूल गया था, जल्दी से उर्दू में खुलासा बता दूं. आज जो मादा हमने कवर किया है वो है गैन ये और बे. गैन ये और बे से बनता है लफ्ज़ गैब, और इस मादे के अंदर ये मतलब पाया जाता है कि जब कोई चीज़ अपनी आंखों से ओझल हो जाए, تو اس کے لیے لفظ غیب استعمال کرتے ہیں. عربی زبان میں غیب کی جمع ہوتی ہے غیوب, اور اس کا متضاد جو ہوتا ہے جس کو انگلش میں اینتھونیم کہتے ہیں وہ ہوتا ہے شہادہ, کہ غیب وہ جو غائب ہو اور شہادہ وہ جو سامنے موجود ہو. جب یہ لفظ اللہ تعالیٰ کے لیے استعمال ہوتا ہے تو یہ ہمیشہ عالم یا علام کی صفت کے ساتھ آتا ہے, کہ عالم الغیب یا علام الغیوب کہتے ہیں کہ اللہ تعالیٰ وہ ہے جو اندیکھی باتوں کو بھی جانتا ہے. بات یہ کہ اندیکھی چیزیں تو ہماری نقطہ نگاہ سے اندیکھی ہیں, خدا کے لیے تو کوئی بھی چیز اندیکھی نہیں. خدا تو کسی چیز کا اندیکھا ہونا یا ظاہر ہونا اس کا وقت سے تعلق ہے, اور خدا تعالیٰ کی ایسی ہستی ہے کہ خدا تعالیٰ کی ہستی وقت سے بالا تر ہے. وقت بھی اللہ تعالیٰ کے حکم کے تحت ہوتا ہے اور خدا تعالیٰ کے ماتحت چلتا ہے. اللہ کی ہستی وقت سے پہلے بھی تھی, اور جب وقت ختم ہو جائے گا تب بھی اس کی ہستی رہے گی. پھر اسی سے لفظ نکلا ہے غیبی. غیبی کہتے ہیں راز کو. پھر کہتے ہیں غیبہ. غیبہ کہتے ہیں غیر حاضر ہونے کو. جب بچے کلاس سے غیر حاضر ہوتے ہیں یا کوئی شخص اگر قرآن کلاس سے غیر حاضر ہو تو اس کے لیے لفظ غیبہ استعمال کرتے ہیں. پھر لفظ غیبہ, یہ جس کو ہم اردو میں غیبت کہتے ہیں, حضرت صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم نے اس کے بارے میں فرمایا ہوا ہے کہ اگر ایک شخص یہ کہے کہ وہ اپنے بھائی یا اپنے دوست کی پیٹھ پیچھے برائی کر رہا ہے, اس کے اندر جو باتیں بری پائی جاتی ہیں ان کا ذکر کر رہا ہے, تو وہ غیبت ہے. کسی نے کہا لیکن یا رسول اللہ میں تو سچ بات کر رہا ہوں. تو فرمایا اگر تم وہ بات کرتے جو سچ نہیں ہے تو وہ تو پھر جھوٹ ہوتا. غیبت نام ہی اس چیز کا ہے کہ جو تم باتیں کر رہے ہو دوسرے شخص کے بارے میں وہ در حقیقت اس میں پائی جاتی ہیں, لیکن تم اس کے پیٹھ پیچھے یہ باتیں کر رہے ہو. اور اس کو کافی بڑا گناہ اسلام کی اصطلاح میں قرار دیا گیا ہے. پھر لفظ غیابہ. غیابہ کسی چیز کی گہرائی کے لیے استعمال ہوتا ہے. قرآن میں اللہ تعالیٰ نے سورہ یوسف میں یہ لفظ استعمال فرمایا غیابت الجب, کہ کنواں, گہرا کنواں. اس لیے کیونکہ جو گہرا کنواں ہوتا ہے اس کی گہرائی کے بارے میں عموماً لوگوں کو علم نہیں ہوتا, اس کی گہرائی کو آپ اپنی آنکھوں سے دیکھ نہیں سکتے. پھر لفظ ہے غیبوبہ. غیبوبہ کہتے ہیں جب کوئی شخص بے ہوش ہو جائے. بے ہوش ہونے والے شخص کے لیے غیبوبہ کا لفظ اس لیے استعمال کیا جاتا ہے کیونکہ اس کے ارد گرد جو ہو رہا ہو اس کی خبر اس کو نہیں رہتی, اس کی آنکھوں سے وہ باتیں اوجھل ہو جاتی ہیں. پھر لفظ مغیبات. مغیبات کہتے ہیں یہ جو ڈرگز وغیرہ ہوتی ہیں, نارکوٹکس ہوتی ہیں, اینستھیزیا وغیرہ ہوتا ہے, جب انسان یہ چیزیں لیتا ہے تو اس کی حس جو ہوتی ہے وہ کچھ دیر کے لیے معطل ہو جاتی ہے. اس کی دیکھنے کی حس میں بھی کمی آ جاتی ہے, سننے کی حس میں بھی کمی آ جاتی ہے, محسوس کرنے کی حس میں بھی کمی آ جاتی ہے, سننے کی حس میں, ٹیسٹ کرنے کی حس میں بھی کمی آ جاتی ہے. بعض دفعہ عقل پہ بھی پردے پڑ جایا کرتے ہیں ڈرگز وغیرہ لینے کی وجہ سے. پھر ایک لفظ ہے متغیب, اور متغیب کا مطلب ہوتا ہے غیر حاضر ہونا, لیکن یہ لفظ عموماً اس کے بعد این نون جو لفظ ہوتا ہے وہ اس کے ساتھ آتا ہے, اور مطلب یہ ہوتا ہے کہ آپ ہمیشہ اس کو اس طرح سے کہتے ہیں کہ متغیب عن المسجد, مسجد سے غیر حاضر ہونا. یا اگر آپ نے کہنا ہو کہ کمرے سے غیر حاضر ہے تو کہیں گے متغیب عن الغرفہ. غرفہ کہتے ہیں کمرے کو عربی میں. تو یہ ہمیشہ لفظ متغیب جو ہے اس کے بعد عن جو ہے اس کا صلہ آیا کرتا ہے. تو اب پوچھیں جس نے کوئی سوال پوچھنا ہے. Now anybody who has questions. جی.
When you are discussing about riba, you mentioned the fact that some people try to refer to as describing the truth. But the way I've understood was that if a word is mentioned about your brother which that brother would not like, is that the right way of describing as well?
Is that the right way of describing riba?
Yes.
That you say something which your brother may not like.
Correct.
The very fundamental understanding of riba is basically you saying something about your brother in a negative sense. So when something is spoken about an individual who is not present in a negative sense, imagine that individual finding out about it. It isn't something positive. It is definitely something negative. And when something negative reaches him or her, obviously that individual is not going to like it. So the meaning that you're referring to is already present in this understanding. دوست نے سوال کیا تھا کہ ये जो लफ्ज़ ग़ीबत है, इसके एक मानी जो उनके ज़हन में थे वो ये थे कि अपने दोस्त या भाई की गैर मौजूदगी में ऐसी बात कहना जो अगर उसको पता चले तो उसको नापसंद आए। तो इस ज़मन में मैंने ये अर्ज़ की थी कि ग़ीबत का जो लफ्ज़ है या जो डेफिनेशन हदीस में आई है उसके अंदर ये मज़मून ऑलरेडी आ गया है, क्योंकि ग़ीबत कहते ही उस चीज़ को हैं कि जो हो तो सच, किसी शख्स की बुराइयाँ, जो किसी शख्स के अंदर खामियाँ होती हैं, कमियाँ होती हैं, बदियाँ होती हैं, जब उन बातों का जिक्र किया जाए उस शख्स के पीठ पीछे, और जब उस शख्स को पता चले कि इस तरह से मेरा जिक्र किया जा रहा था, तो कोई शख्स भी खुश नहीं होता, नापसंद ही करेगा इन चीज़ों को। इसलिए ये जो एक कराहत का जो मफहूम होता है वो ऑलरेडी इसके अंदर पाया जाता है। जी।
If you're lying, it's buhtan.
If you are lying, then that would be considered buhtan. That would be considered kizb, which is more worse than committing riba. That doesn't mean that committing riba is fine. It's not. Both are sins in Islam. Anji, yes sir.
So would jinn also fall under this type of definition? Because, I mean, isn't that the definition of jinn is something that you can't see with your eyes?
The definition of jinn is something which is unseen to your eyes. The only difference is going to be the word jinn is very vast in its application and its understanding. For example, according to Arabic language, the word jinn can be applied to bacteria because with your naked eyes you cannot see. But through microscope you can see bacteria as well. Then again, the word jineen, which is used for a fetus, a baby which is being formed in the womb of a mother, whether that of a human or that of an animal, the word fetus is used. The Arabic word which is used for fetus is jineen, again from the same root, which means something which is hidden. You cannot see it. But now with the help of ultrasound and different kinds of scientific methodologies, you to an extent can see these things. The word Jannah is used for a garden which is so densely, which has vegetation which is so dense that it makes it impossible for you to see what is inside. But then again, if you go closer to such a garden and you enter it, then you can see the things that are in it. Then the word Jan is used for snake because it is hidden from your eyes, because snake usually stays inside a pit, inside a hole. But when it comes out, you can see it, or when you go inside that hole, you can actually see the snake. So in one way, you can say that the meaning is somewhat similar, but in another sense, it is somewhat different at the same time. The word ghaib is when something becomes unseen altogether from your eyes, when you can't see it anymore. At that moment, the word which is used to describe that situation will be ghaib. Any other question? Ji, you have a question? Okay. हाँ जी, बुजुर्गान में से किसी का कोई सवाल है तो पूछ लें. Lajna, Maila, if you have any question, please go ahead. Somebody had asked me a question regarding Thanksgiving. Do we celebrate Thanksgiving or not? What is the stance on Thanksgiving? When you are looking at the festivity of Thanksgiving, and when you study the background, the history of it, you realize that the history of Thanksgiving is dipped in the blood of the innocent. They say that when the European migrants moved to the Americas, they slaughtered, they butchered the Native Americans, the Red Indians. And this is in part the history of the festivity of Thanksgiving. So if by celebrating Thanksgiving somebody is of the opinion that this is what we are celebrating, then no. We do not celebrate any such event that marks a brutal point in history, in human history. If by celebrating Thanksgiving one thinks that we are giving thanks to Allah, then giving thanks to Allah should not be limited to just one day of the year. As Muslims, we believe that we should be giving thanks to Allah every single moment of our life. In the Holy Quran, Allah Ta'ala says, "La in shakartum la azidannakum." If you become grateful to me, if you give thanks to me, I will increase you in every sense of the word. I will increase you in your food, in your sustenance, in your wealth, in your health, in your persons, so on and so forth. But Allah Ta'ala has not placed this limitation that you should, give thanks to me on a specific day of a year or of a month or even of a week. On the contrary, we are taught to give thanks to Allah Ta'ala every time we stand up for prayer, in every single rak'ah. Every single rak'ah begins with what? Allahu Akbar, and after that there is one thing which is common. There is one specific surah which is offered in every single rak'ah. Surah Fatiha. What does Surah Fatiha begin with after Bismillah? Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. You're giving thanks to Allah the Almighty over there. Every time you read Surah Al-Fatiha, you're giving thanks to Allah Ta'ala. So this is the lesson that we learn. We're not celebrating any day of the year to give thanks to Allah Ta'ala. This is just another holiday for us. Nothing more. It becomes a reason for us to get together. And if people are eating food together because, they're using this time of the year to get together and be with each other, we invite people, every month or every other week anyways. So this is no different in that sense. Yes, sir.
So,
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
as you mentioned, I don't know, my understanding is that, I just looked it up too, that the Thanksgiving is in celebration when in 1621 the Plymouth colonists and the Indians shared an autumn harvest feast that is acknowledged today as one of the first Thanksgiving kind of celebrations in the colonies. What you said is also correct, that there was a lot of brutalization, but I think this particular holiday is celebrated, for this reason.
On the harvest of the...
Ji, I'm aware of the point that you're raising about the harvest and the history from the 1600s.
Yeah.
The same books that talk about this would also talk about the brutal massacre that happened around that same time as well. So that is why I'm saying the history of this incident is dipped in the blood of the innocent people. Another example that I could give is that of Columbus Day. In the United States, Columbus Day is celebrated. If not in all the parts of the country, at least in certain parts of the states, it is celebrated. But if you ask the Native Americans, they would say there is nothing to celebrate about Columbus. Christopher Columbus was probably one of the most, insane individuals to ever walk on this land that we call United States of America today. They say that Christopher Columbus committed mass murder of the Native Americans. So when you ask them that are you celebrating the Columbus Day today, why would they celebrate someone who massacred their ancestors? So again, you will always find two coins or two sides to a coin. And it's better to know both sides before coming to any conclusion. As far as getting together on Thanksgiving goes, we don't get together on Thanksgiving because it is Thanksgiving. We get together on Thanksgiving Day simply because it's a day off. And we're better off, spending a day with our families. We're living in such a time where literally people need to book appointments in order to visit each other's homes. I'll give you one example. You all are aware that currently there is this local drive happening, which has to do with the mosque extension project. And there are different team halqa leaders, and they've been calling people. They've been calling people left, right, and center, saying, "Look, we want to come to your house. Can we come?" People aren't even responding. What is it that these people are trying to come to your house for? They say that they have an opportunity to earn God's blessings. and they want to share that opportunity with you. But if you are not even answering their phone calls because you're busy or because of whatever reason that you may have, you're literally shutting the door of God's blessings on your own face. So this is the time that we're living in. So when we find a single day, even single day in a week or even in a month or even in a year, what do? We try to get together so that we can be with our families. So that is what we do whenever we get a time off. Any other question?
So living in a foreign country,
Ji.
how do we balance the culture of that country and assimilation into that culture and getting to know your friends and your neighbors and your co-workers and sharing happiness when they are happy and on the occasions that they celebrate, and we want them to come to our mosque when we are celebrating certain things or doing iftar and things like that, and it makes us feel good if they say Eid Mubarak to you or Happy Ramzan or whatever. It makes us feel good. So if we share the same thing, so what is the balance that we must strike between the culture and the religion?
So there are two parts to your question. One has to do with the assimilation part, and then the other one is to do with the fact that if other people are celebrating a certain kind of a cultural holiday or a religious holiday, should we not take part in it, since we expect them to take part in our Eid festivity? These are pretty much your two questions. Both questions in different settings and gatherings were asked to Hazrat Khalifatul Masih al-Khamis Ayyadahu Ta'ala bin Nasr al-Aziz. I'll paraphrase the answers that Hazur gave. Regarding the assimilation, Hazur mentioned, and I believe this happened last year in Germany, when Hazur Anwar was visiting Germany. Right after Jalsa UK, Hazur went to attend Jalsa Germany. And Hazur, during his travel also inaugurated a few masajid. In one of the places, people mentioned that, look, you come to our countries, referring to anti-Muslims. Some Germans said that you come to our countries and then you don't shake our hands. Your women don't shake the hands of our men, and your men don't shake the hands of our women. And then how can you assimilate if you don't do that? Hazur mentioned one very specific point. Hazur mentioned assimilation does not mean that we have to assimilate the way you think that we have to assimilate. To assimilate in any society, I think it would be more than enough to say that we are actively taking part in the civil sector, in the social sector, in the government sector. We are your doctors, your teachers, professors, chefs. We're taking part in everything that is considered being German, or living in the United States, that would be considered being American. We're taking part in every single thing. So assimilation doesn't necessarily mean that you have to shake the other person's hand, if the other person happens to be of the opposite gender. That until you do that, you are not assimilating. So that is wrong understanding of the word assimilation to begin with. Your second question had to do with should we not be celebrating other people's festivals, such as, for example, Thanksgiving or Halloween is another festival that they have, and then Christmas is there, and then Easter is there, so on and so forth. When we expect them to celebrate Ramadan, number one, we don't expect them to celebrate Ramadan. If anybody thinks that we're expecting other people to celebrate Ramadan with us, we don't. It's their choice. If they want to celebrate, they can. If they don't want to, they don't have to. It's not like if they don't celebrate, then we're going to say, well, see, there's something wrong with you. You're not celebrating our festivity with us. No. So why should this be, the understanding when it comes to Christmas or Easter if we don't celebrate it? We celebrate something that we believe in. For example, Christmas, the Christian holiday of Christmas means that Christ was born on the 25th of December. When we know that historically speaking, even from the Christian sources, Christ, Hazrat Isa alayhi salam, was not born on the 25th of December. Hazrat Isa alayhi salam's birth is celebrated. This is supposed to be his birthday, 25th of December. We don't believe that. Even, those Christians who have deeper understanding of the Christian theology and Christian history, even they don't believe that Christ was born on the 25th of December. Then what is it that is associated with Christmas? The concept of Santa Claus. An image that doesn't exist. Santa Claus does not exist in real life. So when you say that, the other people are celebrating Christmas and we should also take part in celebrating Christmas, then you're literally saying that, we should be endorsing what they believe. We can't. Even their own learned people, their own scholars don't believe what the layman Christian today believes. But that doesn't mean that we should say, oh, look, you're celebrating something which is falsehood. We're also taught not to be rude to other people. One young Lajna or a Nasira asked the same question to Hazur Anwar, Ayyadahullah Ta'ala bin Nasr al-Aziz, that at the time of Halloween and so on and so forth, should we accept gifts? Hazur mentioned, if you're accepting gifts, then you should also be giving them gifts as well. If they are giving you chocolates at the time of Christmas and so on and so forth, then when it is time for Ramadan or Eid or whatever is our celebration, then you should be going to them and giving them some prize or some gift as well. So, कहते हैं ना उर्दू में ताली दोनों हाथों से बजती है. It goes both ways. So this much is something which is considered part of etiquette. When you live in a society, then you appreciate the other individuals as well. But appreciating the other individual does not mean that you have to follow what they're doing. I can be a very good neighbor without celebrating Christmas. I don't have to celebrate Halloween in order for me to be a good neighbor. I don't have to celebrate Thanksgiving for me to be considered American. Just because if I don't celebrate Thanksgiving or Christmas doesn't mean that I am not American. There are so many people living in the United States of America who don't have any religion or who are not Christian, and they don't celebrate the Christian holidays. Does that mean that they're not American? They're equally American as someone who might be a Christian or who might be an atheist or who might be, a Muslim, so on and so forth. You had a question, sir?
If we have an office party this week, and it was a Thanksgiving party.
Okay.
Everybody either contributed or brought a dish.
Yeah, it's like a potluck. Okay.
So it was a joint, all the staff members gathered at lunchtime and they had a lunch.
Okay.
It is okay?
It's like a potluck. If you're going there with the intention that, okay, I'm celebrating Thanksgiving, then you can tell them that, look, I don't believe in this concept of Thanksgiving.
It was just a get together,
Then it beats the purpose anyways. Then the mentality is not this that you're celebrating a specific incident in history. You're just having a potluck on that specific day.
Exactly, that's what it is.
It doesn't fall under this category then. The category that we're describing, that we're discussing, your scenario doesn't fit under this category. Any other question?
Should we give a gift like during the Christmas days, sometime for their holidays? If I want to just give it to a neighbor or my co-worker.
Okay.
You wish them their holidays.
You don't have to give somebody a gift on Christmas. You can give it a day or two later or a day or two before, and you don't have to say that this is a Christmas gift. You can say, season's greetings. And that should suffice. The whole point is giving them a gift, right? So you don't have to give it on a specific day. For example, we teach our kids that we don't celebrate birthdays, right? I'm hoping that the young kids who are sitting here and the young girls who are sitting upstairs, you do understand that we as Ahmadi Muslims, we don't celebrate birthdays. But that doesn't mean that we don't give each other gifts. We as parents or as elders, we don't have to wait for the day of somebody's birth to give them a present. You can give presents throughout the year. Why wait for a certain day of the year to come and then give them? And then gift them or give them something, that they desire. So similarly is the case with Christmas. Christmas is supposedly the birthday of Isa alayhi salatu wasalam, which factually is wrong. So if you want to give somebody a present around that time, you don't have to give it on that day. Because we don't celebrate Christmas, just like we don't celebrate birthdays. ठीक है जी जज़ाकल्लाह व आखिर दावाना अनिल हम्दुलिल्लाहि रब्बिल आलमीन. Who's gonna call the azan?